Hi, I'm Harry Allen, student number B90108899, and welcome to my analysis of performance assessment. Focus on my analysis was on Sheffield United FC during the 2020-21 Premier League campaign. Sheffield United is a professional football club in Sheffield founded in 1888. The season before, Sheffield finished 9th in the Premier League with 54 points. In the 2020-21 campaign, they came 20th, bottom of the table, with the worst goal difference of -43. The manager was Chris Wilder and their captains were Billy Sharp and John Egan. They used a back three formation in a 3-5-2 formation. This encouraged overlapping centre-backs and attacking-minded wing-backs to push forward to pose problems for opposition. You can see this in Figure 1 as it shows how they set up and lined up in the last match of the season. The problem which Sheffield had during this season was they conceded the most goals in the league. You can see this in Figure 2, which is the league table. They conceded 63 goals over the season, leading to losing 29 out of 38 matches, and they only kept 5 clean sheets. For comparison, Burnley, who finished 17 and stayed up, conceded 55 goals with 11 clean sheets. This shows the importance of clean sheets, as you can't lose matches without conceding. You can see quotes from Total Football Analysis and BBC Sport. These indicate that the tactics were not providing results needed, and the defensive performance was dropping from the previous season. A reason for this is their defensive press. When Sheffield defend, the wing-backs tuck in the defence to make a back five. This tactic allows Sheffield to sit back with having numbers behind the ball, making it difficult for opposing teams to find gaps within their defence. This is shown in Figure 3. It shows how little pressure is being placed on opposition players. This is why my research aims to analyse Sheffield's defensive pressing in their defensive third to examine if their low press is leading to conceding goals. The research question is, how does applying pressure to the opposition participants impact Sheffield United FC's defensive outcomes? The aims of my study are to analyse Sheffield United's ability to press opposition participants, and to record opposition's entries into the defensive third and record how much pressure was placed upon them, and record the defensive and attacking outcomes from this. My hypothesis is applying high pressure to the opposition will lead to positive Sheffield defensive outcomes, and applying low pressure leads to more opposition outcomes and more key chances being created, which is detrimental. Often, performance analysis is criticised for its lack of theoretic frameworks used to support analysis. The nature of football is complex and due to the high-dimensional behaviour constructs found in team sports. Dynamic systems theory helps to explain the dynamic nature of team sports like football, linking tactics to theory. The theory shows how team behaviours are influenced by interactions of players and teams, and that football is a reactive game, so key performance indicators are functions of the interactions of players and teams. This nonlinear approach tries to quantify the environmental patterns of football through the use of key terms like perturbation, critical incident, stable state, re-establishment, and smoothed out. These terms can simply describe Sheffield's problem. By Sheffield not pressing and applying high pressure, it allows the opposition to keep possession of the football, resulting in opposition stable state. This increases the probability of the opposition creating key chances, lead to them creating more critical incidents, and this often results in Sheffield conceding goals. However, by Sheffield applying a high pressure, it will help to disrupt opposition's stable state possession. This can lead to Sheffield re-establishment of possession or to have smoothed out play. Performance analysis examines performances to produce data to inform understanding and decision making. I have used key performance indicators within my analysis which are critical to the development of real-time performance analysis systems, as they objectively measure performance variables. The definitions for my KPIs are shown in Figure 4. I have used Naxport, a well-known analytics software, to design my buttons template and record my analysis. I analysed 5 Sheffield matches. I was influenced by Fernandez Enoro et al. 2016 research into football who split the defending third into eighths. This helped give accuracy to my analysis. Another key influence was Graham's Michael and Durpat 2001, regaining possession of the ball in the defensive area in soccer. I found from my research that is very limited papers on my research topic. The main methodological consideration within my research was when to start coding to analyse defensive pressure. I only coded when and where the football touches or is touched by the opposing players upon entry into Sheffield's defending third. This is because I am only analysing the initial pressure due to my researching in high pressure. So coding sequences end with the first outcome from the initial entry. Therefore, I do not need to code long sequences as it's not relevant to my research. I have used Kappa Statistics to evaluate the reliability of performance indicators used within my analysis system. Kappa tests the reliability by testing observations to see whether recorded data agrees and matches with each other. Reliability is crucial within analysis, as it is the degree to which the results can be measured to ensure accuracy. Before I started my analysis, I did 2 test matches. This was to ensure that the results being produced were valid. Validity is important as it ensures that data is reflective of the research. Objectivity is equally important within research. I remained objective throughout my research. A clear example of this is me analysing Sheffield United, a team who I have no prior connection to, therefore I have no previous bias towards them. To show and demonstrate my results, I have put the data into graphs, and I would only be covering the key data. There was a total of 219 recorded entries. On screen is graph 1, which shows the type of pressure Sheffield applied to the opposition. It shows how medium pressure was the most common type of pressure placed, and 26% of all recorded entries resulted in low or no little pressure. High pressure was only achieved 35% of the time. Graph 2 shows how long it took Sheffield to apply high pressure if high pressure was not achieved immediately upon opposition entry into the defensive third. Graph 1 shows how high pressure was not achieved 141 times out of 219 times. Graph 2 shows that 72 out of this 141 incidents when high pressure was not achieved immediately, it was then achieved within 1 to 9 seconds. 49% of entries did not achieve high pressure at all during the sequence of play. This shows a clear indication for improvement. However, one positive is that out of 42 entries when high pressure was achieved after immediate pressure, 66% achieved high pressure quickly between 0 to 3 seconds, demonstrating how Sheffield can apply high quick press. Graph 3 shows the opposition's attacking outcomes. Firstly, I want to draw your attention to advanced possession. The data shows that by not applying high pressure, the opposition were able to pass the ball forward more often than when high pressure was achieved. This was 85% of the time. This is similar to Elrins, Pullens and Robbins' research in 2013. Findings that participants who experience less defensive pressure were able to perform better visual scanning, so were able to pick out and perform more forward passes. Now I want to draw your attention to the key chances created. 79% of the key chances created were recorded when no high pressure was achieved. By oppositions creating key chances increases their likelihood of scoring goals, which is negative for Sheffield. Suki's et al. 2019 research found that not applying pressure allowed oppositions time to spot gaps in the defence to attack through. This is the most effective way to create chances and score. Now refer to recycled possession. 84% of recycled possession occurred when medium to high pressure was achieved. This shows how applying pressure forces the oppositions to pass the ball backwards, thus forcing the opposition away from the goal, decreasing their likelihood of scoring. This is positive for Sheffield. Graph 4 shows Sheffield's defensive outcomes. Looking at attacking error, 54 of the attacking error occurred when high pressure was achieved. This shows how high pressure forces the opposition to make mistakes. Majority of the defensive interceptions occurred also under high pressure. This was 9 out of the 21 occasions. Also, defensive tackles showed that 63% happened under high pressure. By Sheffield tackling opposition, it denies them the opportunity to develop a counter-attack or an attack which they could score from. So the data clearly shows a lack of defensive pressure. This is why my coaching intervention is to improve Sheffield's defensive pressing tactic to become high and quick pressing team within their defending third. I will use a constraints-led approach / framework as skill emerges from the interactions between the players, the task and the environment. I will use constraints to create the specific sporting context of defending within the defensive third and encourage quick pressing. Participants will have to adapt their performance to comply to these constraints, and this is where learning and improvement occurs. I will also use representative learning design within my intervention. This design provides a framework which aims to simulate key elements of a performance setting. An effective RLD should promote the same movements and decision-making processes that would normally occur during match. Therefore, I have used constraints to mimic match realistic scenarios for Sheffield defending in their defensive third. Aims of my intervention design is to increase the quickness and pace in which Sheffield defenders press opposition to increase the pressure against opposition. Like the data indicated, increased pressure under high pressure accounted for 54% of attacking errors, and also 63% of defensive tackles were successful under high pressure. The basics of the drill are that it is 6 defenders in red versus 7 attackers in blue. Play stops when either of the attackers have scored and the defenders have regained possession. Defenders start on the allocated spots, referred to in the diagram. Only the central defensive midfielders and wing-backs are allowed past the defensive line. Once the football enters the defensive third, the nearest defender player should press the opposing participant in possession of the football as quickly as possible. The defender's aim is to win back possession of the football as quickly as possible to score 1 point. One constraint on the defenders is that they have one participant overload against them. This is to simulate match realistic scenarios of a counter-attack. Also, the pitch and area is only a half a pitch, with the centre-backs only being allowed in their defensive third. This is to keep the area specific to the research focus of the defending third. Also, in the starting positions, they have set starting positions to place challenge on the defenders, as they will have to perform hard and fast running to perform the press. Also, the way they score has changed. This is to focus the drill on the defending press. Within this drill, the attackers have no constraints upon them. Simply their aim is to score. However, encouragement of high intensity is encouraged to simulate a counter-attack. All the constraints used within this drill are designed to encourage the defenders to press at a high intensity, and from this high intensity they will improve, with the aim to concede less goals. The problem identified was Sheffield conceding too many goals due to their poor pressing tactics, which allowed participants to create key chances due to them being under little pressure. An example of this was 79% of the key chances occurred under no pressure. The coaching intervention encourages a quicker defensive press. This will benefit Sheffield United from the following quotes by Fernandez 2020 and Mexel et al. 2021. Therefore, pressure increases the chances of stopping opposition's attacks and decreases the chances of conceding goals from this. These are the references used throughout my presentation. Thank you for listening.